Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of this Myteam career mode where we race as Citroën Formula 1 team. We got the Hungaro ring and a special, not a special new livery, but just a new livery that we will be running from now until the end of the season. We got the traditional red, black, and grey/white colours for the Citroën. We got the lime green accents on the sponsorships, as that's just the colour that I like. So that's on there. And personally, I think this car looks really, really good. Let me know what you guys think. And anyways, onto the practice sessions. We'll just skip through that. And now onto the qualifying. Obviously got the intro, nothing too special about this. And not that you guys care anyway, so we'll just skip. I don't really know what to expect for this race, to be honest. You know, it's going to be a tough one. It's Hungary, it's quite hard to overtake around here. Anyways, onto our first lap. The car didn't feel great during this lap. Going wide immediately, like not on the racing line. Like this car was very difficult to get turned in into the corners, which is why I struggled a lot this qualifying. Plus, I already had like quite a worn engine. So I had quite a tough decision to make whether or not I'll just stick a whole new engine in, literally everything new, and go from the back of the grid, or, you know, tough it out and do the qualifying. But the car wasn't giving me quite enough pace. You see, I can go flat out through there, which I usually can. Usually just lift off a little bit and you're through. But through there, I couldn't. It was really hard. It was not even hard. It was impossible. Here again, I go wide. Like the car just felt horrible. It felt horrible, and I made a few setup changes, which didn't prove to work, clearly, as I'm like 4 seconds off the pace. But that's besides the point. As you can see, this is me just sticking on all the new components because, you know, might as well just get a whole new engine in there. Prepare for Monza, Mexico, and then, of course, Abu Dhabi in the last race. And those are not places where you want to get a grid penalty, so I will happily take it here. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And this is the grid. George Russell is on pole position. Lewis Hamilton and Leclerc follow. Then Perez and Sainz on the third row. Leclerc and Perez in the third row. Sainz and Verstappen on the fourth there. And Piastri still in the P20s. Now onto the intro.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of Formula 1 action. We're not expecting too many retirements at this circuit. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher, who made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, Carlos Sainz, and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Ocon, Norris, and Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Kevin Magnussen, and Albon, Joe, Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, and Lance Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Latifi, the owner-driver. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
Now, here in Hungaroring, it is a usual medium to hard option from all of the AIs, but I am twisting it about. I'm going hard to medium. It's just changing up a little bit, and I honestly think I can still be quite racy with the hard tyres on. Onto the formation lap now, and starting from the back of the grid. Vettel is in front of me. No one else on the hards. Everyone is on the mediums. I'm the only one on hards, so it's going to be a different strategy to the rest of them, the rest of the grid. But anyway, we're going underway now for the formation lap, and yeah, I'll just skip to the end because this is boring. Anyways, now lining up onto the grid, doing a few last burnouts before I get into my grid slot. Not getting it red this time. getting it green, which is still not perfect, but it's not red. But now it's time for lights out here in Hungary. So we go 5 red lights. As we go racing in Eastern Europe, in Hungary, it's lights out and away we go. George Russell is ahead immediately. He is still ahead, sorry. He starts off ahead. As you can see, I'm already past Sebastian Vettel. George Russell stays ahead of the rest of the field as Sergio Perez dive bombs Russell and Hamilton and makes it 3 wide into turn 1. Sergio Perez is ahead of both of the Mercedes cars now, and George Russell has been caught napping, unlike the French Grand Prix. And oh my goodness, the Alpine and the Max Verstappen there going 3 wide. And what I was saying is the opposite, where Sergio Perez was caught napping in the French Grand Prix in real life by George Russell. It's now in the opposite. And George Russell is now down into P3, and the concentration was not there for that race start. Although it did look like under control, he lost it all into turn 1, coming out of turn 1. As you can see, going through the chicane now, all the cars going now. And you can see, who was that? Valtteri Bottas, I think, or Joe Guan Yu going a bit wonky there into the chicane. Lewis Hamilton is now chasing Sergio Perez, and he's obviously got George Russell to worry about. But this is anyone's race to win at this point. You know, we have all these drivers in contention, and all the way down into P10, I reckon. All these drivers have a chance to win, including Fernando Alonso, Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, and Lando Norris. You know, all these drivers have a chance to win. But anyway, here's us in P14, already making a few moves up from P22, and at the start of lap 1, obviously, you know, the infamous turn 1 dive bomb is you get Pierre Gasly throwing up some dirt and being overtaken by Magnussen, but he's going to re-overtake Magnussen into turn 1, hopefully here for Pierre Gasly and the Frenchman. Can he go around the outside of Kevin Magnussen? It doesn't look like so, but there, right then and there, Valtteri Bottas was looking at having a go on the inside of Pierre Gasly. And Pierre Gasly, this is not okay. This is not good for him because, you know, he got overtaken by Kevin Magnussen, and he's shown absolute glimpse of speed in that AlphaTauri. Honestly, he has shown some talent in that car. As you can see, Oscar Piastri and Lance Stroll going side by side into that turn 4. And Lance Stroll is fighting Piastri here up the uphill right-hand hairpin and into the chicane. Oscar Piastri stays ahead of Lance Stroll, but how much longer can Oscar Piastri hold out against the 2 Aston Martins as they are working together? Now Perez is 5 tenths ahead of Lewis Hamilton, ending lap 2, going on to lap 3. Lewis Hamilton will look to want to get a move done into turn 1 here, hopefully. Otherwise, he'll be stuck behind the Mexican driver here for too long, and will compromise his race, especially against George Russell and then Leclerc, who will eventually catch up if he stays behind Perez for too long. But it's not good enough. His car is not quick enough to get past here, and this is lap 1 replay here between me and Gasly as I defend him on the inside, as he's also got Magnussen behind him. That was the end of lap 1 there. I have a little moment. Pierre Gasly has his own moment as he gets overtaken by Magnussen immediately, and obviously, as we saw, Pierre Gasly couldn't re-overtake him, so that was a costly driver error by the Frenchman there. As Magnussen, I thought he was about to clip my back right tyre, and I wouldn't be surprised because of how often that has happened on this game. And the AI, see Magnussen immediately having a go at me as he does clip my right tyre, as I was saying. And I've had to cut across the chicane, and I checked my vehicle immediately to check for underbody damage, because that is very crucial, as I have a snap there immediately, and that's why I was a bit dodgy. I didn't know what was going on. But now onto lap 3, no Magnussen in sight as Gasly has gotten past him, but now Gasly is attacking me due to me being on the hard tyres. I'm having struggles keeping up with Mick Schumacher, and Gasly is able to attack me because he's on the mediums here. Gasly now into the right-hander hairpin, kinda. I don't know what that is, but he dive bombed me on the inside, and I stay ahead of Pierre Gasly there. I ask behind because I thought he had wing damage after he did clip me, I think, if I can remember. But no, he did. No, he does have wing damage. Sorry, he does have wing damage. But now into the start-finish straight, he will have DRS. But I don't think it's enough to get past. Now into lap 4, he gets into the inside there of the chicane, and I keep it really tight coming out of the second corner of the chicane to try and keep in the track limits this time, unlike the Magnussen incident earlier on in lap 2, I think it was. And now lap 5, coming on to lap 6, Gasly is still stuck behind me, and Mick Schumacher's pulled away enough time, to give him room to do whatever. Now Pierre Gasly pulls to the left on the outside of the Citroen here, and no, I don't think he gets past the car on the inside. It's just a better line. He has the DRS although, and no, he does not get past. Now lap 8, he is still stuck, and now Mick Schumacher's gained a second or so. I was not boxing there. I accidentally clicked box this lap with my engineer, but now Pierre Gasly is going to have another go at me. He's going to have the DRS, but I'm using all my ERS here, and he goes to the inside this time. And I don't know if he can stick it this time. He looks like he does. He's going to have the DRS out of this. So he's going to fight this. So he's going to go side by side into turn 2. Who will prevail? Who will prevail in this battle between me and fellow Frenchman? The French car, Frenchman connection. As Pierre Gasly goes ahead, but I brake earlier to let him go through as he makes a mistake. As he goes too deep, and I re-overtake him. And now Valtteri Bottas is having a go at Gasly. Wow, that was an incredible that was a credible sequence, but Gasly stays ahead of Valtteri Bottas, and now on lap 10 Gasly is going to have another go with Bottas as well still there behind him. I'm already starting to feeling the effects of the tyre wear. It's very hard around this track. So I have a big moment there, and that corner was a big struggle for me that whole race. See Pierre Gasly going ahead now. I kind of let him through a little bit. It's too fast, and I didn't want to go side by side into that corner as it would have been dangerous. And now Valtteri Bottas is behind me. He's going to fight for this position. As you know, I'm on the hard tyres. He should be essentially quicker than me, and obviously I'm not in the quickest car. But Gasly didn't really make light work of me, but we're going to see how well Bottas does compared to Gasly. But lap 12 now, Bottas hasn't gotten ahead yet. As we take this corner now, Gasly's ahead. And, like I said, it's a bit dodgy, and I lose the rear end there, and I've spun again, and this is not good. As I come on back on the track, and I didn't see those cars come in, and they almost hit into me, and thankfully they didn't, and that would have caused a retirement. But that brings out the safety car, and we are in for the first pit stop. As we go on, we go from the hards to the mediums, as we almost run over that our mechanic, which would not have been good. Sorry, Matata, that would have been you as well. But it's okay, because we didn't run him over. We are still here. And now lap 13, the safety car is out. And, I don't know what happened there. And that was, I felt that the whole time as well. The rear end was very, very twitchy. See everyone pitting here. Tsunoda being amongst those. Gasly, Albon also pitting. All those cars there pitting. For a fresh set of hards, considering they started on the mediums. Their strategy is working out better for them. Now in lap 16, the safety car is coming in, and Sergio Perez leads the way in front of Hamilton. Still, Russell, Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Ocon, Ricciardo. As now I'm in P21 as Stroll retires with an engine failure, and now Guan Yu Zhou is ahead. Now Sergio Perez leading away the safety car restart. Lewis Hamilton is still not close, but he was closer than before the safety car came out. They have not pitted yet. For their mediums. From here up until Max Verstappen, they have not pitted yet. So they're going to drop all the way to the back of the grid once they do pit. So I don't know what their strategy team was going on about, including Leclerc and Sainz. Obviously, they got bad strategy because they're Ferrari. But now they are in, and that means, they wanted to avoid the double stack at the start of the safety car, but now they're going to feel the effects of it because they're going to double stack anyway. The Mercedes both double stack, and the Ferrari both double stack, and then the Red Bull also going to double stack a little bit here maybe. Is it going to be a quick enough stop? No. They are still going to double stack. As you can see, Perez just goes straight through Sainz's car there. But this game is broken as it is, so it's fine. It is fine. And Perez is now in P16, and that is not good for the Mexican driver, considering he's just P1 just a few minutes ago. And now, coming back onto my point of view at the end of, the start of lap 17, so the safety car restart, Guan Yu Zhou did pull away way quicker than me as I have a little look on the inside, but he was giving me no room. So he shut the door on me really quickly, and I just gave it up. I gave it up. I didn't want to cause no accident. There was no need this early on in the race. Guan Yu Zhou, see, I'm still very scared of that corner. especially for the rest of the race, considering this car is so shaky as it is. And now lap 18, all those runners are pitting, and now that promotes us into P15 as I go on the left-hand side of Guan Yu Zhou. He almost dive bombs Piastri, and luckily brakes just in time, but that allows me to overtake him. And now lap 19, I overtake Piastri as he has a little lock up there into turn 1. But now I have Vettel and Latifi both in my eyesight. I want this points paying position of P10, P9. I want this chance. As it's come on the stage now, I have everything going for me. The quicker compounder tires, I have to make them work before they go off, and making a nice overtake there on Vettel. As I have a little look at Latifi as he was napping there into turn 1, and I've overtaken both cars going into just turn 1. And you know, I said I wanted to overtake them, and I did both in just 1 lap, and that was an amazing overtake. You know, Latifi and Vettel both lacking and sleeping there a little bit as lap 20 out of 35. Lando Norris going on the inside of Esteban Ocon. Daniel Ricciardo leads the way of this Hungarian Grand Prix, 2.7 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. And now it's going to be increasing even more now that Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon are both fighting. Obviously, Esteban Ocon being the previous Hungarian Grand Prix winner in 2021. And Lando Norris wants to take that title away from him. Maybe in a shock winner here. We have a few drivers that have never won a Grand Prix in a while, including Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Norris and Schumacher and Albon all in contention for this win. But Esteban Ocon is now 3.7 seconds behind Daniel Ricciardo due to that little battle that he had with Lando Norris. And now to lap 24, Lando Norris has finally caught up with Esteban Ocon again as he rides around the outside of Esteban Ocon. He has a little moment there on the inside, Ocon does. And now Lando Norris goes on the inside of Esteban Ocon into turn 2, and he is side by side with the Frenchman, the less likeable Frenchman. And they're going side by side into turn 4. No, Lando Norris is ahead. Esteban Ocon stays behind, and he falls into the grasp of Fernando Alonso as he dive bombs Esteban Ocon there. And I think they made contact, but Fernando Alonso is ahead. He has really got the elbows out on his teammate Esteban Ocon, and what a fall from grace. P2 to P4 in just a matter of corners. Now lap 26 of 35 coming back onto me. You know, this corner I've had a lot of troubles with, and it's showing right here as I have another spin out of P11 as I was catching up to Kevin Magnussen as I rejoined the track, because there was no one coming on. And then Oscar Piastri came right through, and I turned into him when I didn't mean to, and Verstappen has just rear-ended me and giving me rear diffuser damage, or rear wing damage, I think. So, and that brings out another safety car. So I have pitted onto a fresh set of softs. You know, Verstappen is going to get ahead of me because I had a spin on the way back to the pits after the safety car came out. So we have Verstappen now ahead of us, and now we are coming out of P21 with a lot of work to do as Alex Albon is in a respectable P6 and his engine blows up. His engine is giving up on him in this Hungarian Grand Prix of lap 28 of 35. He was so close to a very good point-paying position with all the scouts on him, all the scouts looking to sign Ocon as Albon with a respectable P6 in that Williams car. His engine's just given up on him, and now the safety car restart. Verstappen gets a rocket ship restart as he is all immediately pressurizing Piastri as he goes to the inside of the Aussieman, and he gets past him, and so do I. Piastri was caught lacking there, and he lost his focus a little bit there. Russell also P18 after the incident, but the point where they pitted like a lap too late. And now I have a job to catch up to him because he's on the hard tyres, and if I do not get past him until by the time my softs go off, then I'm going to make no use of it. As I have a little look down the inside, as you see Verstappen and Guan Yu Zhou there ahead battling, and Verstappen prevails, and I had a big snap there, and Piastri goes past after I had to make an incredible save there. That was a really good save, and me and Piastri make a little bit of contact as I ride the curb there, bottom out, and then the exit curb, I spin, and that's a big shunt, and we are out of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and that is such an unfortunate demise. Even worse than Alex Albon, maybe not so much because he was in a points-paying position, but that is absolutely utter just frustration, and it just shows because the car just couldn't compete. And Lando Norris, a McLaren driver has won, but who will it be? It is Lando Norris. Lando Norris has won the Hungarian Grand Prix. As you can see, Fernando Alonso in P3, and then there's another McLaren, so it can only be Daniel Ricciardo in P2. And thanks to that safety car, Lando Norris could caught up to Daniel Ricciardo, even though Ricciardo had a big, dominant lead over Lando Norris. Lando Norris overtook him on the safety car, after the safety car, and that is so unfortunate for the Australian. He could have cruised to a win there if I didn't bring out the safety car with that big shunt. But well done, Lando Norris, and a first win and a shock win here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. And that's a really good result for McLaren, and a very unfortunate result for the Ferrari driver of Carlos Sainz, who I think finished down in like P17 or something ridiculous. He finished out of the points, and obviously he was leading the championship going into this race, and obviously that doesn't help considering Verstappen, I know he was P19 or whatever, right next to me, but the sim in 5 laps and he was on softs, his pace, I don't know where he finished, but we're going to have a look in a minute as Lando Norris celebrates with his his inaugural, I don't know how to say that word, I don't even know if that's the right thing, win in Formula 1. And what a great day for Lando Norris and McLaren as they head higher up the field against Alpine. And oh my goodness, Verstappen finished in P4. He finished ahead of Ocon. What a drive there from Max Verstappen in the last 5 laps. And look at that, Leclerc finished P8, Carlos Sainz out of the points. Carlos Sainz is out of the points, and look at that. 3 DNFs. And that's the race over. And now we have Monza up next. And that will be an interesting one. That'll be a very interesting one as we get a few upgrades in the chassis department event, as we choose to agree with the overtime just to get that little discount on the roll dampers. Now that I think about that, probably wasn't really worth it. As you can see, now we're advancing to the Monza, to Italian Grand Prix. And, the driver contract expires in 91 days, and I cannot wait for that day to come. This is the standings. Leclerc is still in P1 somehow, but not too far from Verstappen. But that will do it for this Hungarian Grand Prix. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again very shortly for the Italian Grand Prix.